She is a champion
of women in manufacturing.
She is passionate
about advancing technology and inspiring the next generation.
She is
the one and only Megan Zimba, and she's ready to host the Creators Lounge.
The Creators Lounge is proud to welcome SME.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Creators Lounge here at IMTS 2024. I'm super excited because I have my good friend Greg Jones with me today. Hi Greg, how are you doing?
I'm really doing well today, Megan. How are you?
I'm awesome. I love everything that you do, especially for IMTS. So first off, can you give us a little background information? Because this hasn't been your first IMTS. I think in the notes it said your first IMTS was 1986. So what's your history?
My first IMTS was 1986, so I've been in the industry quite a while. We started doing a student summit at IMTS in 1998, and at that time I volunteered my time to help with the schools that were coming in. I've had the honor and the privilege to be the producer of the Smartforce Student Summit at IMTS since 2012, and this year it's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, it was pretty big. I went down there a couple of times, and it was pretty crowded both times that I was down there. So it was really great to see that.
Yeah, we're expecting big crowds today, tomorrow, and on Saturday we're doing the first Lego League season launch for Chicago Public Schools. So we'll have an additional 400 elementary school students here experiencing IMTS and then getting a immersive experience into their season challenge. That's in the area of submersibles. So we're really excited about that.
That's really cool. So
Yeah.
You said it started out in the 1990s. So what was the main inspiration behind starting the Student Summit? I know you only started as a volunteer, but what was the conversation around it?
Yeah, we've had a skills gap in our country in manufacturing for quite a while, and so the thought was do something here at this big event to help solve that issue. And you know, interestingly enough, I became part of the education and workforce development initiative in this country in 2001 when I was part of the executive team that launched Tooling U, which is now owned by SME. We call it Tooling U SME now. But that was my first foray into education and workforce development. Tooling U was exhibiting here at IMTS as well, volunteering for the Student Summit. At that time, you know, you had a couple of dozen teachers, some CTE high school students coming. Now we expect to have probably about 14,000 teachers, administrators, students, and even parent chaperones helping the kids out coming through IMTS and the Student Summit this year.
So has it always looked the same? Because right now it's set up where it's exhibitors from the main floor are having smaller scaled booths down on the Student Summit. Was it always like that, or did it look more like a career fair type vibe when it first started out?
Yeah, not even a career fair. It looked more like an orientation session.
Oh, okay.
And then a chance to visit some of the booths that were upstairs. And then, you know, they did like scavenger hunts to go to certain booths and things like that. That didn't work all that effectively at the time. As we began growing the number of students who participated with us at IMTS, we decided to create like a mini trade show in a different part of the building so that students could actually get their hands on and experience some of the technologies that are here that they can't do on the main floor, right? So our industry exhibit partners that join us in the Student Summit are those companies that really focus on the U.S. education market, sell their products to those schools. So we began to put what our industry's vision of the manufacturing technology classroom of the present and future should look like, and to encourage administrators and teachers to, you know, buy the actual equipment that these kids are going to be using when they join a career in manufacturing.
That's awesome. We're going to get more about the evolution of the Student Summit, but right now we got to take a quick break. That was really fast first segment. So stay tuned because we have more coming from Greg Jones.
You are watching The Creators Lounge. Gain insights as our hosts talk to expert guests about key industry topics. Come see the action live on the trade show floor. Visit booth 338 600. See you at The Creators Lounge.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm still sitting here with Greg Jones. So Greg, you were talking about what the Student Summit looked like when it first started out and how it sort of evolved. Now, was it always a week long, or how did that evolve?
You know, I think in the beginning it wasn't all week, just a few days of the week. It is the entire week of IMTS now, and we do close the event at 3 p.m., not 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., because schools are getting back on school buses, heading back to school, and they've really seen all that they can in the time allowed. We also close on Saturday early at 1, but again, this Saturday is going to be exciting with the FLL season launch.
Can you give us some information of how many schools signed up for this year and have come through the doors?
Yeah, so I was looking at the numbers today. I think 2018 was the largest student summit. We had about 21,000 join us that year. It was more than 500 K through 12 schools.
Wow.
And I think I want to say it was something like 370 post-secondary schools. So we actually reached not just Illinois, Indiana, the Great Lakes states with secondary students from K-12. I think we're going to have 46 different states represented this year, and DC, and all Canadian provinces, and like Guam. I don't think we had anybody register from Puerto Rico this year, but we have in the past. So broad reach, and where you get that broader reach, that's mostly post-secondary students, community colleges, technical colleges, and university students who are coming here because they're about to embark on a job application process. So we do a Smartforce Career Connections using QR codes to connect those students directly with the careers pages at our industry exhibitors' websites. So whether they're looking for an internship or a co-op, apprenticeship program, or their first job, they can do that with the QR codes that we have in the summit.
That's super cool. So what was new this year that you didn't do in 2022?
Probably the most exciting thing for me is the addition of 3 different mobile labs.
Oh,
so the College of DuPage brought their mobile lab, and inside that, they can take out a desktop mill, a desktop 3D printer. They have a couple of challenges that students can do. They've got VR welding that comes out of that trailer. The second trailer is from ACE, America's Cutting Edge. IACME, which is the Composites Manufacturing Institute. So a big semi-trailer that students can actually walk into and engage with a full-size Haas machine and some cobots and other things in there. And they can sit down and program at some CMC simulators as well. The third program lab is from Toolkit Technologies, which is the the education integrator for SMC Corporation, so a mechatronics manufacturing company. And that trailer's got a bunch of SMC cells and Universal Robot cobots in there, and students can walk in and experience that. And that one, to me, is the most compelling because where the skills gap comes in to the discussion, it's those mechatronics folks, the people that are going to be industrial service maintenance technicians, robotics technicians. They really need that mechatronics program to learn how to install, repair, and maintain all the machinery and automation that's going into manufacturing shops.
Right. So in terms of the skills gap, from SME's perspective, what work still needs to be done?
Oh, there's a ton, right? So we've announced some recent new scholarship programs. SME Workforce Development is doing some things with the Blue Forge Alliance and the Build Submarines initiative.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So both of those things are on display here in the Emerging Technology Center at IMTS as well as in the Student Summit. And yesterday in the summit, we were honored to have Rear Admiral Todd Weeks join us and engage with some of the students, and that was pretty exciting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Have you heard any feedback from the students themselves? Like, what do they like or dislike about the summit?
I do hear from a lot of students as they're leaving the room, because I try to stop them from leaving and just engage with them on what they liked, what they saw. This year we're actually beginning to track some of the data on those students, so they can sign up for a digital badge with us so that we can understand what career pathway they chose after they visited the summit. Did we change their perspective about, careers in manufacturing, and did they decide to go into an education program that's going to lead them to a career pathway in manufacturing?
Awesome. Well, we have to take another quick sponsor break, and when we get back, I do want to bring up the Miles for Manufacturing and what that initiative's for, and then talk to you about your transition from the AMT to the SME. So we will be right back, so stay tuned, because we're coming back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Megan Zimmer, and we're still in the Creators Lounge with Greg Jones. So, Greg, one of the things I wanted to bring up, too, was the Miles for Manufacturing run. It's a 5K run. So can you give us a little bit more information for that?
Yeah, this is the 10th anniversary of Miles for Manufacturing here at IMTS. We began doing this in partnership with GIE Media that produces, B2B publications and aerospace and medical devices and things like that, and they're really good partners. We've had a number of organizations help sponsor Miles for Manufacturing over the years, and this year we had a really good new sponsor called Mavens for Manufacturing, thanks to you.
Yeah.
And that really helped put us over the top this year. We normally do about $35,000 to $40,000 in sponsorship revenue and participant runner fees. We had more runners than ever, but we also had more sponsors than ever. And I believe the total was $47,445 that I get the privilege of donating to the Children First Fund here in Chicago on behalf of Chicago Public Schools. And we also have some FIRST robotics teams that we've been funding for this decade of Miles for Manufacturing. So we're very consistent about that. And all those teams obviously appreciate that.
Yeah,
we also fund some community-based organizations here in Chicago, because IMTS is here in Chicago. It's never going to leave Chicago. This is the most important town to us. We want to support the school systems, the CBOs, and the FIRST robotics teams that exist here. And I think we were approaching almost 600 runners this time, too, which was the biggest one ever. And then, I'm not a runner.
Yeah, we're cyclists.
I'm a cyclist. So part of what we do for the sponsorships is we have a Miles for Manufacturing bicycle kit that I get to wear, and about 100 other people in the industries actually buy this kit. We don't give it to anybody for free because that would take away some of the revenue that we can give to schools.
Right.
And so I get to ride around all year long like a rolling 27-inch two-wheeled NASCAR with a bunch of logos on my kit. And I get a lot of questions out there from people, and people in the industry see me and see all of our sponsor logos. And so it's EOS and Heimer and of course, Tooling USME is a sponsor as well. Riata Engineering, a shop in Colorado. Jorgensen Conveyors, Manufacturing USA Institutes. So thanks to them, we get to donate a lot of funds to schools. And this year, I also was able to get some matching funds from a family foundation that chose to remain anonymous. But in total, we're going to have over $113,000 that we are donating, mostly to Chicago Public Schools this time. So it's really great.
So there's a lot, and if you're not a runner, you can walk too, but there's a lot of impact that's coming from the Student Summit. So in your insights, what's the overall impact to the U.S. manufacturing workforce that the summit has?
Well, hopefully we're helping to change that gap in the skills that we have, and encouraging more people to seek a career in manufacturing, to not just go to a four-year college, but maybe even go to a community college, because with a two-year degree and an industry-recognized credential, you can get a job in manufacturing in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So much quicker, a lot less debt. And that's the impact.
Yeah.
We just want to change perceptions about what it looks like to be in a role in manufacturing.
So one of the things that's changing for you is you were actually part of the AMT and then you switched back over to the SME. So how has that transition been, and what can we expect in 2026?
The transition has been great. My job hasn't changed all that much. You know, I'm still the producer of the Student Summit, which really takes up, even though IMTS is once every 2 years, it takes up my entire year, right, in advance of the show. And so that hasn't changed. I'm still working with my best friend who used to report to me at AMT, Catherine Ross. She's a rock star. And
she's awesome.
She, you know, at some point in this scenario, when I choose to retire, she will be co-producer, and I have a colleague on the SMC side of the equation, Megan Shea Keenan, who will co-produce this event as well. And I think the two organizations have worked together really well. But again, for me, it doesn't feel like my job has changed all that much.
Right. Kat is very passionate as well, too. And I think that's what makes the Student Summit so successful, is it's led by such passionate individuals as the three of you. I've met Megan briefly, too. So what's going to be expected in 2026 from the Student Summit then? Are there new things that you're planning? Is there any teasers that you can give us for 2026?
I don't know about teasers, but we're always mindful of emerging technologies, and you know, we want to see what's going on with more AR, VR in the space for training individuals, and Tooling USME is really good about that. We've got a lot of classes on AR, VR. I would expect some changes in the area of AI, where we'll want to be teaching schools how that relates to jobs in manufacturing and being able to be a technician and those sorts of things. So we just have to be mindful of the emerging technologies and make sure that those things can be found and seen and experienced by students in the summit when they get here.
I 100% agree, because if they want students to be ready, shop floor ready or facility ready, we have to start integrating those technologies within their school. So, Greg, any final words before I let you get back to the Student Summit?
Well, I'd just like to say one thing. I have this new lapel pin on.
Okay.
I was honored yesterday to be pinned by Chicago Public Schools STEM organization for the work that we've been doing with CPS here for this IMTS. We have some terrific colleagues, and really honored to have received this pin yesterday.
That's awesome, Greg.
Yeah.
Congratulations. It's very well deserved. So I'm super glad that I know you. I think you're an awesome individual, and I
Thank you.
cannot wait to
The
see you at
feeling's
2026. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for this episode of Creators Lounge. Stay tuned because we got a bunch more interviews coming your way. Bye, everyone.